Hockey Inside Out, presented to you by the Montreal Gazette.
Welcome to the Hockey Inside Out Show. I'm Montreal Gazette sports editor Stu Cowan, joined this week by Chris Nyland, Jack Todd, and Mike Boone. Chris, the Lightning are now 3-0 against the Habs. They've outscored them 12-3. I think the question Habs fans want to know, is there any hope the Habs can beat this team in a 7-game series?
I don't think they can this year if they face them. And I'd like to see what's going to happen the next 2 games they play them. But listen, this is the one team that I think the Canadiens, if they face them in the playoffs, they're in trouble. Last year, they didn't have Bishop, okay? Last year, they had an unhealthy Stamkos coming off broken leg. The emergence of Tyler Johnson, Kucherov, these guys. They got a really solid hockey team. They're in their heads. They got the revenge factor. John Cooper, I believe, is a really good coach. He knows how to... These guys want to play for him. They like this guy. You know, he's a player's coach, but he has that respect. He's up there. And... you know, the Canadiens certainly a team that struggles scoring goals.
I think the only hope is if Carey Price steals it.
Yeah, and the question is, should it be that way or not? You know, I'm not a huge guy on analytics, but if there was ever a game when you could see the puck possession factor, it was that Tampa game. They just had the puck all night. If the Canadiens got a chance, it was a one and done. You know, they'd get a rush, they'd get one shot off, hit the net, not hit the net, and the puck was back the other way. They could not get their hands on the puck. This went on all night long, and the question is, I mean, you know, you've got Subban and Markov on the points, all this stuff. You have no power play. You have no offense with Max Pacioretty in the lineup. A lot of fingers are pointing at Michel Therrien right now and his system. You have guys who can carry the puck. You have all this skill, and you're dumping and chasing. I don't know. I'm not taking that side, anti-Therrien, but it looks a little shaky.
Geez, the bus just pulled up and we're throwing them under it already. I mean, I thought we were talking about Tampa Bay. Get out the knives.
Now, some Habs fans, if you wonder if you jinxed them, Jack, you wrote that.
Oh, no doubt. Every time I write something, you know, I write that Desharnais shouldn't be on the first line. He comes off the first line for a while, he goes back on it and plays great. And now everybody wants him off the first line again, so I'm taking no stance on that one. But I'm with Chris. As things stand now, they cannot beat Tampa Bay. It's good they get 2 more cracks to try to figure out a way to do it, but I don't think they can in a 7-game series.
Jack announces a parade. Get out your umbrella, because it's going to pour. You know?
Mike, Devante Smith-Pelly had 1 hit against Tampa Bay. Would they be better just keeping Yuri Seacatch on this lineup?
You know, the trade has been made. They felt they had to get a little bit of bulk up front. I think maybe just Tampa Bay was too damn fast for him. You know, it's not his type of game. I think he was decent on the West Coast trip. He's becoming more comfortable. He brings a certain degree of physicality. And that third line was maybe their best the other night and has been for a while.
Yeah, DSP, you know, honestly, the 1 hit against Tampa, I don't know if he can get there. He's 220. He got that weight on him, that extra weight. I think if he dropped down, we'd see a bit quicker player, a guy who could get there. Some guys think they need that bulk so they can run guys over, but if you can't get there, it's not worth having. Jacques
Lemaire used to push you to lose weight, and you said it really helped you, right? In your game?
Yeah, I was 205. He wanted me at 202, you know, and I could feel the difference. When I was 205, I felt sluggish. A lot of people don't think 3 pounds is a big thing, but it was for me, you know, and there were days I would come in, I'd be 203, and he'd look at the scale, he said, I said 202, not 203. Okay, so
now, Jack,
202 it was.
The new guys are brought in. Smith-Pelly, 7 games with the Habs, 1 assist. Torrey Mitchell, 4 games, no points. Brian Flynn, 4 games, no points. Did Marc Bergevin screw up at the trade deadline?
I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really give up anything to get those guys. Mitchell, well, he did in the case of Seacatch, but we'll get to that later. Mitchell, I thought, played very well against Tampa Bay. He has some speed. He's been good on the draws. Interesting because maybe he can take over Malhotra's role and give them a little more of an upside. I don't think he screwed up when he brought these guys in and the roles they're playing in, limited minutes, not on the power play and stuff. But the whole team doesn't have a power play. The whole team isn't generating offense, and somebody has to find a solution.
Now, P.A. Parento's been a healthy scratch, even though he said he's 120% healthy, Mike. His agent, Alan Walsh, got on Twitter and said, Montreal is goal-starved, and P.A. Parento, with 196 points over 4 previous NHL seasons, is a healthy scratch. Your reaction to that?
Where was Alan Walsh when I was getting divorced? He'd go on Twitter and save me a lot of money. You got to respect him. I mean, he goes to bat for his clients, but man, oh man, I wonder if Parenteau will play tonight because Terrien, who is a bit of a stubborn guy, may just dig in his heels and say, Alan Walsh is not coaching the Montreal Canadiens. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I know Alan pretty well. He actually helped me a lot when I went to do a series on Russian hockey when he was just starting out in the business, and he'd been over there a lot trying to recruit clients, and he helped me with contacts and stuff. He's crazy like a fox, I think. You know, the hockey establishment doesn't like him because he does things like this. My one criticism with this one was I thought he was a little premature. He should have waited a game or two before he comes down on their head.
Do you know what you call 10,000 lawyers at the bottom of the St. Lawrence?
A good start.
A start.
Would you put Parenteau back in lineup? Should he be in there?
I don't know. I listen, I know what he can do. We saw what he could do at the beginning of the year. He got the concussion. Now he said he's 120% healthy. I don't think he was doing enough at the beginning of the year. Perimeter player, wasn't going to the tough areas, wasn't going to the net. Here's the deal. The players they got at the trade deadline are depth players. This organization touts depth. They have depth now. They have players that can easily fit into Michel's system, his defensive system, whatever it is. And, you know, like Jack said, he didn't give up a whole lot. He's staying to his plan of building this through the draft over the long term, which is a good thing, I believe. He's sticking to his plan. As far as the power play and not scoring, this is on the coach. This is on the coaching staff. I think, you know, really, look at the personnel they have and their power play is where it is. Whose fault is that? And yeah, somewhat the players on the ice, but it has to be corrected. And the only guy who can really correct it as far as systematically is the coach. And I don't think they've done enough changing personnel or changing up what they do.
We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The Toronto Maple Leafs don't win many games, but they just keep giving when it comes to the Toronto media. The latest saga, Nazem Kadri. Your thoughts?
They're a columnist's dream, you know? You got nothing one day, you know the Leafs are going to do something stupid and torch the whole city. I thought that was, even for the Leafs, one of the stupidest moves I have ever seen. First, why is Shanahan announcing it? You know, you totally undermine your GM and your coach. This should be a coaching decision. You were late for a meeting, I sit you, not somebody upstairs. Second, why air it publicly at all? You know, I mean, every step of this, move it over to Montreal and try to imagine the Habs dealing with something like this. You know, they have one of their young stars is late for a meeting. Apparently there's been a pattern or whatever. First of all, it's all going to be dealt with behind closed doors. Second, you are never going to see Jeff Molson come wandering out and saying, oh, hey, we decided to sit this guy for 3 games because we're trying to teach him a lesson, causing all kinds of problems down the line with his contract, with trading him, with everything else. It was just amateur boob hour in Toronto.
Well, you like this one, Mike. I was at the game in Toronto Monday night, and I'm leaving the press box, and Brendan Shanahan's walking ahead of me through where the private loges are, and people are stopping him to pose for photos and shake his hands. And I was thinking, I don't think that would happen in Montreal if the team was as bad as the Leafs.
In Montreal, he'd be in a wig and a dress and being snuck out the back door and right into the witness protection program. You know, you'd never hear from him again if this was going on here.
Nazem Kadri, your reaction as a former player when you see stuff like that?
Wake up, young man. That's all. You know, like you can't do that. Look, this team is such a mess right now, and you got to be accountable. And believe me, it's got to be tough on these guys in there, but it's on them too. It's not just on the organization and management. It's on them on the ice. And when you come, you're supposed to be at a meeting, and all your teammates are there, and you come walking in 20 minutes late. Apparently, there was a patent. You know, couple guys earlier in the year. Nothing happened to them, so now they're going to come down on him. But yeah, that's he's got to wake up. You know, you're not above it all. You're part of the team. You got to be there when you're told to be there.
Back to the Habs. Steven Stamkos after the game against the Lightning said about the Habs, they're a solid team. They play structured. I'm wondering, Jack, if maybe they're wearing down from that structure and playing all these close 2-1.
Yeah, they could be. I mean, they've been doing this all season. Mental fatigue would be the first thing you'd expect to see, physical fatigue. There were a lot of, I know Chris doesn't like these excuses, but they were coming back from the West Coast. The time change happened, everything else. There were some reasons. I'm hoping that's why they didn't have legs on Tuesday night.
Well, that's what Terrier offered.
Well, he said tennis, right?
Yeah, I guess that the no excuses sign in the dressing room was removed.
I don't get that either. Like, take the sign down, please. Don't. I think he's overdoing it, trying to show that he's, going to take care of his team after what he did in Pittsburgh, right? I think we know he's changed a bit, but this team, tired or not from the road. I mean, Tampa Bay went on a 5-game Western swing. They come home and won 3 straight at home. So I throw that theory out the window. And yeah, you're a little bit tired. You're tired all year. This is a tough schedule to play. It doesn't matter. You're going out west or wherever. They cramp so many games into so little time, and you got to be used to playing like that.
Terry also said after the Tampa game, who would have thought we'd be in first place at the beginning of the season? When I heard that, it's almost like you're giving your players an excuse there, too.
Yeah, like the expectations aren't that high. I mean, the way Price has played with the way the rest of the team showed up last spring and some adjustments, they should be in first place, And I think it's really key that they stay there, because if they stay there, they get Boston in the first round. That's a winnable game. Maybe Detroit can take out Tampa Bay, because, we'll see a lot tonight. Tampa's playing Boston. I'm really interested to see what happens there. Now, they just beat the pants off Montreal's system. What are they going to do with Boston?
Boston's getting better, though. They're getting stronger.
Well,
you know what? I wouldn't want to play anybody. I'd want to be Toronto. I want to be Toronto. I don't want to play any of them. They're all so good.
Let's do Toronto, Buffalo, Edmonton, and have the parade.
But they lose to those guys.
Yeah.
Now, if you had Jacob de la Rose, Bergevin's brought in 5 new guys, Mike, since around the trade deadline. Did he screw up team chemistry, maybe? I'm wondering.
I mean, who did he subtract that was a vital contributor to team chemistry? We can argue about Sekach's talents versus those of DSP, but I don't think Sekach was the most popular guy in the dressing room. I don't think he was a leader or anything like that. I think the overall has been done fairly carefully and he's managed to hang on to guys on the team who are important to the team.
Mm-hmm. Now, Petrie has taken a lot of the load off of PK and Markov as far as ice time, but it's also given Beaulieu a little bit less of a role. Is that good or bad?
Yeah, I thought he was playing well. I think he was getting a little too much ice time, at 25 minutes, But, I'd like to see him in there more. He's been on the bench a little more. He's paired with Gonchar. And listen, I think all their defensemen are the same, I know Chicago has some good puck-moving defensemen, but, there's no physicality back there. The only guy is Yemelin. A lot of goals are scored around the net, in situations, tips, screens, rebounds. And this team, no one ices the puck more than this team in this league. So what's that say? Listen, they're good defensemen, but I think they have too many of the same kind.
Yeah, I miss Patterson, He was hitting people. He's a big physical presence, and it really seemed like something sagged a bit when they sent him down.
Emelin's on the verge of coming back. Who do you take out on the blue line?
Wow. Maybe
Gonchar.
Yeah, I'm thinking Gonchar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just for the age factor. And
yeah. As Petrie, your thoughts? Was he a good pickup?
Yeah, listen, I think he's a good puck-moving guy. They have a bunch of them. He's a good-sized kid. He can play the body at times. I don't think he's one of them guys you're going to come to the net and say, ooh, I don't want to go there. Yemelin is. But they don't have any guys back there that will spook a guy going to the net. And believe me, there were a lot of times you go into Boston, you have them defensemen there, a boogie in their nose, sweating, waiting to just kill you in front of the net. There's nobody like that.
I think one thing people might be wondering, Jack, do the Habs even make the playoffs without Carey Price?
Yeah, I think they do. I don't want to discount Price's contribution, but a lot of people have had to do with this. But you see games like the other night, it's a minor bitch of mine, but I hate it when guys do paint by numbers 3-star selections. I mean, it's a big thing to the fans and all that. So, Johnson scores the winning goal, so he's first star. Bishop's team won, so he's second, and Price is third. Well, BS to all that. Price was the first 3 stars. He was that game. That's a 6-0 game without Carey Price.
Then you change the Molson Cup to the Carey Cup.
Yeah, might as well.
That's it for this week. We'll see you again next week with another episode of Hockey Inside Out.